Hi, welcome to today's segment of Our Ventura TV. My name is George Alger. Today we're going to be speaking about the Ojai Raptor Center, and joining us is Jaclyn DeSantis. Welcome, Jaclyn. And just to make sure we're all on the same page, can you just start with what is a raptor?
Sure. Thank you, George. So raptor, it actually comes from an old Latin word that means to seize. So raptors are birds of prey. So generally what the birds that fall into that category are going to be eagles, falcons, hawks, and owls. However, throughout time, there's been much debate on whether or not owls as well as vultures fall into that category. But here at the Raptor Center, we do consider owls, vultures, hawks, falcons, and eagles to all be raptors. And the
Very
word
good.
raptor has always meant bird of prey, just to clarify. A lot of people think raptor also is synonymous with dinosaur. And that is really the fault of a popular movie. But raptor has always meant bird of prey. It has never meant dinosaur. So just to clarify.
Very good. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So what is the Ojai Raptor Center?
Yeah. So the Ojai Raptor Center, we are a nonprofit organization located in Ojai, California, and primarily we're a wildlife rehabilitation center. We take in over 1,000 wild animals a year. We are licensed by both state and federal agencies, and we do take in any kind of sick, injured, or orphaned wild animal, but we specialize in raptors or birds of prey. Yeah.
Okay, very
And we
good.
also, yeah, sorry. And I should say, we also primarily we're a rehabilitation center. We also have an education program. So birds, our main goal as wildlife rehabilitators is always to heal our patients and release them back to the wild. That's also by law our goal. If we have patients that are not releasable to the wild due to permanent handicaps or injuries, we will selectively bring those birds into our education program. And I always like to clarify that our relationship with those birds are almost the complete opposite of our patients. We limit our exposure as much as possible to our patients. That's why we're not open to the public. If you've ever approached a wild animal, you might have noticed that they don't necessarily like the company of humans. They process us as predators. So will always try and flee from us. So with our education ambassadors, we work with these birds every day. We train them and we go out, we educate the public, increase environmental literacy, and hopefully conservation efforts with our education program with our non-releasable birds.
Very good. Now, Jaclyn, I noticed you use the term patient. So does that suggest that your rehabilitation is a medical facility?
Yes, sorry. To clarify, wildlife rehabilitation centers, we are a medical facility. We have a fully functional hospital inside. We have a full-time veterinarian and we have a vet staff. You may actually see some of the vet staff coming out here. Behind me is multiple aviaries for different specialized housing for species. So yes, we are a medical center first and foremost.
Okay. Now, how is it that birds and the other animals that you serve would tend to need rehabilitation?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so I would say safely 85% of the cases that come into our center are coming in due to anthropogenic causes. And what that means are human induced causes, basically, things that humans are doing to negatively impact our shared environment that with these wild animals. So I could go through some of our most common injuries, but the overwhelming majority of them are things that humans are doing, sometimes consciously, most times unconsciously. And that is why we place so much importance on our education program, also through social media, because we really raise awareness about a lot of these issues that our wildlife is facing.
All right. Well, for someone who might not even, I mean, I guess what comes to my mind is like if a car hits a bird, that would be an example. But are there any other examples?
Yeah, definitely. Car strikes are probably one of the most common. And centers like ours, because we are kind of right at the cusp of, we have a lot of wild space around us, but we're right on the cusp of, populated dense city. We're seeing, I think we receive exceptionally high numbers because of our location. So car strikes, believe it or not, we went in our database, I think one shot bird about every other week. So about every other week,
Wow.
shot bird, they are shot quite often. A lot of toxicosis, whether it be rodenticide or rat poison, toxicosis, sometimes other things. We recently had a very well-known case that came in. I don't know if you saw it. We got in a very well-known eagle that was observed on some eagle cams, some of the nest cams at Channel Islands. That bird actually came in because of zinc toxicosis, which is pretty rare, but that's not a common scenario. But a lot of times, entanglement injuries, very common, barbed wire, weed netting, all kinds of mesh for gardening and netting. I'm trying to think of some other things.
Those are good examples, Jaclyn. Okay.
Yeah, sticky traps, rat traps, sticky traps. There's so many, yeah, but most of them are things that we're kind of encroaching upon their, yeah.
Now, what's the path for an animal that's been injured to arrive at your door?
That's a great question. So we do oftentimes convince, most of the times we are convincing the Good Samaritans, the members of the public that are finding these animals, to capture and transport them here. Sometimes we will do the transports ourselves, but most of the times we're not like animal control. So again, we don't have funding. We have a very small staff of only 7. So the rest of our efforts are all volunteer based. So all of the people that are going to be going out and meeting someone to pick up an animal, those are all volunteers. So yeah, we do talk the public through capturing these animals most of the time, because those are the ones that are going to be first on the scene that are finding them. And sometimes people are too scared to do so, of course, and I completely understand. You know, you're dealing with predatory birds; they have large talons, so sometimes people are like, "There's no way I'm touching this animal," and then we kind of have to find another way. Sometimes we work with animal control, and they will bring us to us, police officers, all kinds of community efforts to get the animals here.
Could you briefly comment on a reaction of a bird to someone trying to help them?
Yeah, it really depends on what state the bird is in. Most of the times when people are finding these birds, again, as I mentioned in the beginning, if a bird is healthy and it's approached by a person, it's going to fly or run away, anything it can do to get away. And so, depending on its injury, if it has a broken wing, it's going to try and run away. If it has a broken leg, it'll fly away. And we often tell people, you know, in that case, there's not a whole lot we're going to be able to do. That bird will eventually have to lose its energy before someone can capture it. But a lot of times car strikes, the birds are so they're in poor mentation and just in such bad shape that they will just lay there and allow someone to pick them up. They're barely conscious. So it really depends on what state the birds are in. A lot of times these birds, usually when they're able to get caught, as I said, a lot of times they sustain the injury at one point in time, and then it really takes them losing their energy to where they can actually be physically caught. By that time, emaciation has set in. So sometimes the public will misunderstand, or because a lot of times people want to anthropomorphize animals. We want to put our human emotions on them. So sometimes people see an animal that's not putting up a fight and letting them handle them, and people will misconstrue that as like, oh, the animal likes me, I'm comforting it. And I just want to make clear, in no time ever will you be comforting a wild animal that's injured or sick. If it's letting you do that, it's because it's too weak to escape from but like I said, here at the center, we only look at our patients only when absolutely necessary for medical procedures, if we must clean and change their cage. Other than that, we never expose ourselves to our patients because we are stressful for them, our presence.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Jaclyn, could you speak about your volunteers, and also if there might be someone interested in helping, how could they do so?
Absolutely. So we do, like I said, we have a robust volunteer program. We have kind of a lot of our protocols we used to accept children. We've come to understand that at this point where we are with the center, we only are accepting 18-year-olds and older. It can be sometimes dangerous here working with these birds, and we feel it's just safer. And we really want self-motivated volunteers. So we do require a commitment, because a lot of times, since we're not open to the public, in the past, I've been with the center for 13 years, and in the past, some people will come, they'll volunteer for 2 weeks, and then they leave. And that's actually a lot of work for us to try and train people. So we do require a minimum of once a week commitment for at least 6 months. So we are really looking for committed volunteers. So I would just suggest, if you live really far away, we have some people that are so passionate about this that they drive all the way from LA every weekend. But yeah, it's something to consider, that we do require a pretty commitment. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, well, we're
Mhm.
just about out of time, Jaclyn. I wonder if you could sneak in the website for viewers to go to for more information, and if you have a very brief summating message for the viewers.
Yeah. Well, first, I'd like to just say that we are a nonprofit organization. So, all of our efforts, if you like what we're doing, we are 100% donation based. We don't receive any funding. So, that would be a very important message to the public. If you want to support us, you can do that in a number of ways. You can book an education program, you can make a donation on our website. And we also have an auction coming up on October 20th that we have some fun stuff in our auction. So, our website is ojairaptorcenter.org, all one word. And yeah, follow us on social media also. We have a lot of great content, constantly educating the public, really fun educational content, as well as just keeping up to date with what our patients were receiving, what interesting species we have.
Thank you so much, Jaclyn.
Yeah.
We're going to end off here.
Thank you,
This is
George.
You are welcome. This is George Alger signing off for this segment of Our Ventura TV. Until we meet again.